Pleasure fans, hey, how's it going, Guilty Movie Pleasure fans? Hope today before the show you get stocked up with some Doritos, some Goldfish, some Honey Nut Cheerios, some Haagen-Dazs, man, you gotta get the chocolate, and some Funyuns. Yeah, because today we're covering Half-Baked, man.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasure.
Yeah, man, we're doing the slow motion. All right. What if we just did the rest of the podcast like Jim Breuer, man?
Everyone would turn it off,
Exactly.
man.
Eventually, we just transfer into Keanu.
Yeah.
Eventually, it just becomes Keanu from like Bill and Ted's or something.
There's definitely a reason this movie wasn't entirely Jim Breuer.
Yeah,
Because if we did this podcast entirely as Jim Breuer, no one would listen to it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, GMP fans,
Not of
I am
all
your
ages.
host. Yes, not of all
Not of
ages.
all ages.
17 and up.
Yep.
This is going to be an R-rated program. I'm your host, Ben
Please.
Begley, and with me, as always, is Jesse McIntosh.
Here I am.
Yeah. You can follow me at the Ben Begley. Who really cares? I've been teetering at 2,000, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps hitting 2,000 followers, and then it drops to 1995,
Damn.
and then hits again, and then I'll post something political, and I drop again.
First world problems.
Son
Man. I can't
of a-
even speak. I paid for 2,000 followers, and they haven't shown up yet. So
Where can they find you, Jesse?
you can find me at Too Much Jesse, Twitter and Instagram.
At Guilty Movie Guys is our handle here at Guilty Movie Pleasures. Today, in honor of Half-Baked and in honor of Dave Chappelle's return to stand-up, his Netflix specials he has.
We're doing it in honor of Half-Baked.
In honor of 420. Sorry, I'm on very little sleep right now. In honor of 420, which is not a holiday I celebrate, but I respect people who do.
It needs to be honored.
It needs to be honored. We decided also to shift gears from ridiculous action films, which, by the way, I did see The Fate of the Furious
And
on
your thoughts?
Friday. I will give a little quick thing. I feel like it was a little too much of the Dom show and not enough about... It was a little too Dominic
Interesting.
Toretto and not enough of the team. The team doesn't really get to do as much in this. And the whole reason I go to a Fast and Furious movie is to see them be thrown into the most absurd scenarios and then the team have to figure it out. Now, I don't want to say too much more because I don't want some hater on YouTube to be like, that idiot spoiled it for me in the first 3 minutes. So I'm not going to say anything else except, yeah, I wish it was more of a team effort throughout. But I did enjoy
you
it.
go.
It's fun. And The Rock and Jason Statham steal the show. They're hilarious. in it.
So you're more of a basketball fan than a tennis fan.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
All
what I'm saying.
right. There
But
we
I
go.
would, please, go see, since we talked about Furious 7 last week, please tweet at me what you thought of The Fate of the Furious if you saw it. Did you love it? Was it your favorite? Where does it rank in the new quadrilogy of films that are going to be a sex trilogy? What do you
Yep.
call it?
That's what you would call a sex trilogy.
Sex trilogy. Yeah, that's what you call it.
And-
sextuplet trilogy.
And in the meantime, if you are tweeting at Ben, if you have 5 friends, get
Just
them to
get
follow
'em.
Ben.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. So we
that
can
won't drop me.
hit that 2,000 and stay there.
So Half-Baked. I saw this movie. God, when did this come out? 95, I want to say. I don't remember now, but
It came out in 95, but it's sort of always been out.
So
you
it's
know what I
always been
mean?
out. I had never seen. I was a real straight edge kid. I had never drank till I was 20, and I never smoked pot, and I barely smoked pot in my life. It was always very like, if I did anything, it was like at a party, and it was like, hey, you want to try this? Maybe. And then I always just got first off, let's out the gates. Let's dispel the fact that this movie makes weed smoking seem magical. And in the beginning, when they're like eating giant candy bars and coming out of giant slushies and floating off into space in the bar, if there's something I'm missing, the only thing that ever happens to me is I become a complete introvert. I just sit back and watch everybody and borderline fall asleep with my eyes open and eat everything.
Yeah.
Now that's true. When they're like Jim Brewer's epic rant, which we'll get to, of ordering the food and what I tried to mimic in the opening, like that's the only thing I do is eat a lot and not talk and just watch everything and maybe get into giggle fits or coughing fits.
Sure.
But I feel like movies portray weed like it's acid.
It's kind of weird, right? Because like
It's like we
they
were talking.
don't-
Like, it's like The Hangover portrays Vegas as something way cooler than it really is.
Yeah, I mean they do this with things that, because they don't really portray drinking this way, right? There's no movie that's like, and the guy who drinks all the time is having a fucking blast. Like no
Leaving
one,
Las Vegas is a hilarious comedy, right? The guy who drinks all.
but so it's just like a weird dichotomy of like there are people like this, and I don't know that they're. I'm sure that they are enjoying themselves, but it's not as the life that they're living is not as romanticized as it's
stoner comedies like
portrayed here.
Pineapple Express and things like that. They're always like, I'm like, I have pothead friends that are just functioning. They're just normal.
Right.
They're just like, it just takes the edge off, and it's like, cool, all right.
Right.
First off, let me just preface this before everybody thinks I'm like anti-weed. I'm not at all. I think it's fine. I'm actually more pro-weed than alcohol because, and I do alcohol, I drink alcohol, but like, I think that you've never seen an angry weed smoker. You've never seen like an angry weed smoker at a bar be like, fuck you, man. You bumped into me and you spilled my weed.
Well, that's because there are no weed bars.
Yeah, there are no weed bars. Yeah. I think there should be weed bars. This country's so fucking stupid when it comes to weed. How many people are in jail for possession of marijuana? It's like marijuana's nothing.
So this is a little bit.
It's dumb.
I know, like we're not really getting.
Marijuana's
into the
not
plot.
dumb, but the laws against marijuana are dumb.
Sure. I know we're not like super getting into this quite yet.
Yes.
But this is part of the like the construct of the movie where I was like they could have been really lazy about it, and this was one of the moments where they were not, because just having weed can get you plenty of jail time. Yeah. And so that could have just been Harland Williams walking through the streets smoking a joint.
Nope.
Absolutely. And they didn't do
they
that.
They escalated quite. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but that was just like this movie in a lot of places was lazy, and like you can get on this movie for that, but like the inciting incident of the film was not lazy in the least.
This movie, I remember, cracked me up so much, and definitely because I never smoked weed, and because I didn't probably for like another 10 years after seeing this movie, but I'd seen this movie probably 10 times, it definitely set it up so that the first time I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to be, man. And then, like I said, I was just kind of like, and then a whole bag of Doritos goes away.
Well, I sort of feel like, and they go through like a bunch of different types of weed smokers through like when they're selling the weed,
so funny.
And it's so great. But like,
and all the cameos in this movie are incredible.
They're tremendous.
Willie Nelson was my favorite. It should have been there. Oh, Snoop.
Snoop and Bob Saget are my favorites.
Bob Saget's so good. Because I remember that was the first time I saw Danny Tanner do it. In fact, we're just going to play that clip right now, because this is Danny Tanner's first appearance for me since Full House, and this is what he says. Can we play clip number 10?
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke. I seen them. And that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Can we play that again? Because I love that guy goes, I seen him.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke. I seen them. And that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Danny Tanner, right there. Danny Tanner.
That's actually what the character he's billed as. It's not angry guy in
Danny Tanner.
in AA meeting. It's
20
Danny
years later.
Tanner. Yeah.
So that's like, and I think that this movie does a really good job of calling out kind of how the pros and cons of weed smoking. Like there is a pro, but also the flip side of it at the end where he chooses the girl over, kind of like Trainspotting, choose life, or he chooses the girl over weed, over the real Mary Jane over the smoking Mary Jane.
Right.
And so it has some cool stuff in there in a very silly movie, but like it also kind of in that rehab scene where they make fun of the fact that you're not addicted to, weed is not a gateway drug. It's stupid. That's some kind of like propaganda from the 50s.
Yeah.
What was that propaganda film? The Reefer Madness.
Yep.
The really famous one from the 50s. Yep. Anyways, let's get into the plot. Oh, first off, when I saw it, I thought it was hilarious and completely ridiculous. What was your impression of it?
I remember seeing it and thinking that it was hilarious, and literally the only thing I remembered about it was Harland Williams killing the horse.
Really?
That was
I remembered almost every sound clip I pulled because my friends and I would always be like, "I love butter stuff. I love butternut."
Sure, and like I remember a lot. Like I remember the "fuck you, you're cool, fuck you." Like because people say that all the time.
I always wanted to say that when I quit a job.
Yeah, but I don't like. I visually couldn't picture what was happening in that scene. Like I knew it, but I didn't remember it. And so the only visual image that I remembered was Harland Williams killing the horse.
And how did it live up to your visual half memory of it?
It's interesting now that we have context of Dave Chappelle's life.
Yeah.
Because like at the time, I don't think I really knew Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
This was before Chappelle's show. Way before Chappelle's show.
Yeah, way before.
So I didn't really know who he was. And now I'm so familiar with him that it just changes this. It changes it a little bit.
Because I think you're also spoiled with how unbelievably hilarious the Chappelle show is. This feels like a warm up to it.
This was not that. Yeah.
No.
This was clearly like someone trying to figure out what his voice was.
But there's still some great moments in this movie.
He's, I mean, obviously an extremely talented person.
I feel like this movie, for me, as disjointed and bizarre as it is, still, for nostalgic reasons, aged really well for me, where I still found myself laughing really hard at a lot of it. And being surprised that I laughed at jokes that I knew were coming from a mile away.
There are so
since
many,
I'd seen it so much.
There are a lot of things that are really funny that I didn't even pull, and stuff where like I can tell like, oh, here he is. Like I see, I see future Chappelle. Like,
I want to talk to Samson.
Remember, right? Yeah.
Remember here's the thing though. In college, I remember the Chappelle Show was every white dude's favorite thing to quote in college, where like every white nerdy friend of mine would come in quoting the latest Chappelle Show, and I remember just being like, this is kind of weird. Like, you seem like that guy right now.
A little bit.
Like game blouses, and it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
but that's the magic of Chappelle, is that
it was, like, I remember though, it was like Dave Chappelle was the comedian version of what Dave Matthews was for the dude with the acoustic guitar on the college green, where every acoustic guitar on the college green was like, bang, down, turn on Dave Matthews, and every single person that quoted anything comedy, it was either Napoleon Dynamite or Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
And the over-quoting of those almost ruined it, but didn't, because the show was that good.
Well, and the difference being that Dave Chappelle's show continued to create content.
Yeah.
But I was
Napoleon
just
Dynamite was ruined by over-quoting.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Ruined. If I have to hear fucking, I have some chapstick, my lips are real chapped. I love that movie, and it was ruined. Anyways,
but yeah, so just the example that I was going to give real quick, and then we can get into the plot here. Was
the plot?
The two things that happened in the movie. We in the very, very beginning, when he's like describing, like he's setting the scene, and he's like, it was me and my buddies, and he like names his buddies, and then I forget the name of the guy. He's like, and Old Man Joe, and he's like, oh. I don't even know a guy named Old Man Joe. I don't know why I said that. And the guy disappears. Like, that kind of shit is so funny. And it was like sort of sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
But that was like obviously the foundation for like where his shows.
Oh, totally.
His show went from there.
Shall we do the plot in under 3 minutes now?
Yeah.
Are we ready in the booth?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do this. In 3, 2, 1. So we start off their childhood friends. We establish Thurgood, Brian, Kenny, and Scarface, and Old Man Joe or whatever, and he disappears.
Old Man Joe.
They try Mary Jane for the first time at 13. They get super high. They go to the convenience store. It's magical. Now we cut to them. They're pretty much just these Arrested Development adults
Yeah, they're doing
who
the
haven't
same
done
thing
much
as
more.
adults.
They get high from Billy Bong Thornton. Harlan Williams goes out. Kenny goes out to get goodies, and he feeds the horse everything, and the horse dies, and he's now a cop killer and thrown in prison.
Well, we find out that the horse is a cop horse.
Yeah, the
and
cop
so
horse.
he's a member of the
And he's diabetic.
NYPD. Yeah. And so he gets thrown in jail, and then the guys have slept through the night, and the dude on the couch tells them
throws him a note.
Yeah, he throws him a note.
Stephen Wright, right?
Hey.
I think it was Stephen Wright on the couch. Anyways, we'll move on.
know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So he throws him a note.
And they're like, oh shit, he's in jail. So they go to jail, and they realize that the bail is $100,000. They're
Yeah.
like, how are we going to come up with $100,000 by Harlan Williams demands by 6:30?
Yeah.
They're like, no, we need more time. So they had Dave Chappelle works as a janitor.
And scientist. They call each other janitor and scientist. He goes, here, go get this for me. And he sends the janitor to go get a pound of marijuana for this. And then he very conspicuously hands him a giant handful of it. It's like, here, just take a little bit. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes and they smoke it, and it's amazing. And they're like, oh man, we can just write out these prescription cards for ourselves and sell it. And so they start a Mr. Nice Guy weed selling thing. And
so they hand out free samples to everyone.
And everybody starts floating because it's the most magical weed on the planet.
And so Dave Chappelle and the crew go to the jail, and to get a ride home from the jail, he meets this woman, Mary Jane, who hates weed.
Yeah, her dad's in jail for prevention, which we never meet her dad, but he's a very integral part to her life.
And he's the worst human being alive. And so she hates weed. And so there's like a weird love story between the two of them. And he lies to her and says, no, I've never smoked weed. I hate this stuff. And so then he's selling.
And then they go out on a date where he has $8, and he ends up stealing money from a homeless man to pay for the ice cream. And then she goes, so you promise you've never smoked weed? He goes, I promise. And then I got some booty. He gets laid. And then he feels like a kid again. And then we've run into a problem where now, they go to Sir Smoke-A-Lot, sell him drugs. Which is Dave Chappelle as well.
Yep.
He makes a song about them instead of Samson.
Right, so
Samson, the
Samson
big drug dealer,
realizes-
brings Scarface over and says, all right, here, come here, I want to buy some more. And then they get duped. They have to go back.
So they're like, oh shit, we have to steal all the weed.
I'm gonna let
so
you
we
take it
can,
from
yeah,
here.
we have to steal all the weed from the hospital. And so they go and they're stealing
Dead
it.
President spoof, sort of.
Yeah, and then the cops are there and they take him to jail. And Dave Chappelle's like, I'm not going to give you Mr. Nice Guy. I'm going to give you Samson. So they wire the guys
Super
to
convenient.
go in, and they're like, you need him to tell you.
And they say, we gotta get high
you have to
before
be
it.
explicit. Yeah. So the cops are in the car and they're already high
Because they get hotboxed, yeah.
And so the guys go in
10
and
seconds.
they try and get him to say the words, and he finally says, and they're like, all right, get us out, but the police officers are too
4.
high. And then
they go and free. Kenny gets free, and then Mary Jane and Dave Chappelle gives up weed for Mary Jane. I just like seeing you at the end there, the last 5 seconds go, and then it was like Max Headrum.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so let's get into
I
this.
should not have smoked that pipe
Because
before I
there
came
are
in.
100 sound clips we have, I feel like.
Yeah.
So we talked about the childhood one. Can we play clip number 1? This is him setting up his love for weed back in the day.
Why
Childhood?
don't you light it up there, brother?
Here goes nothing.
It's a pseudo 2001 Space Odyssey.
I don't remember graduating. And my first sexual experience, I don't remember that either. But man, I will never, ever forget the first time I smoked that sweet Chiba.
Sweet Chiba.
My favorite part about that clip is the kid in the beginning and his accent. I don't know where he's supposed to be from, but
It's so good.
it's got like a very pained accent.
They get super high and they're grabbing giant Abba Zaba bars, which I had the sound clip, but it wouldn't transfer from my phone, where he eats the thing and he goes, Abba Zaba, you my only friend. And me and my buddies used to say it all the time, like, Abba Zaba, you my only friend. We love that quote for some reason.
Is Abba Zaba a real thing?
Oh yeah, Abba Zaba's a real thing,
I've
and it
never
is that
encountered Abba
it
Zaba.
takes that much effort to bite it.
It looks delicious.
It's like chewing like tar, like
Yeah.
street tar, but that's vanilla flavored.
I can picture it. Yeah, that sounds great.
Just like rubber, like just vanilla flavored rubber.
A rubber street tar hybrid.
Yeah, like a sole of a shoe that stepped in street tar and it's vanilla flavored. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
So they
right.
get super high. They do things that nobody I've ever known on weed, other than if it's been spiked with something else, they see, and it's magical. Then we cut to them as adults, and they're all kind of meandering. Kenny is a kindergarten teacher,
Right.
Which only pays off because when he's labeled a cop killer, there's a newspaper article that says kindergarten cop killer.
Yeah.
So there's all these little almost spoof homage moments. And I noticed like that music in the beginning, it's like a 2001 Space Odyssey. Then they have a faux Jeopardy thing. They have like a faux Mission Impossible theme.
Yeah.
So it's like they couldn't get the rights to any of these, so their composer just tweaks it just a little bit. So it has almost spoof elements to it.
Yeah, but not
But
like
not
all the way
Not all
there.
the way. It's like a little sprinkled in.
Yeah,
Sprinkled in
just
throughout.
like a nod.
And then we meet Ryan now works at a record store where he's arguing kind of like, I think Jack Black has a similar argument in High Fidelity about a Kenny Loggins album. And he's like, I want 7 for this. And he's like, I'll give you 5, but it's autographed by him. Okay, I'll give you 4.
Yeah, he also he does the Jerry Maguire thing when he quits.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah. Who's coming with me? Jan, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I remember I used to think Jim Breuer was so funny back on SNL and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he still does comedy every once in a while. He was hilarious, but he was a guy that like in supporting roles, like in this, hilarious. But if he was the Dave Chappelle, it would be like the foot would be on the gas.
It's like it's a little bit too much of Jim
He also
Breuer.
legitimately seems high the entire movie, whether he was or not. If he wasn't, fantastic acting.
So this is my. I have one gripe with this movie.
Please.
And this is so when you hear the complaint from females in Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
that women parts are not good and they're not written with thought and care and from a female perspective, this movie epitomizes that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this woman who he meets is so gullible and so stupid and so forgiving.
Yep.
It's like incomprehensible.
And the female leather-clad army at the end, where one of them gets defeated by her boob sticking out.
Yeah. But
And then punched in the face.
But in particular, Mary Jane, like,
Yeah.
she's supposed to be this person who hates marijuana, can't stand
Yep.
it, and her first introduction to this group of people is just Jim Breuer being Jim Breuer, and like anyone who sees him,
And they keep constantly saying, "No, we
they're
gotta go
constantly
choke up,
saying
man."
we
He's
gotta
like,
smoke.
"No." And I love Dave Chappelle's thing he does to the side of her, where he's like,
right?
It's so over demonstrative, but awesome.
Yeah, so like that scene is for Dave Chappelle to do that.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh yeah, she's
if I met Jim Breuer, I would honestly,
Immediately be like-
I'd be like, you have been smoking since you
birth.
were born.
You came out the womb with a bong.
And if she is this dead set against people who smoke, like, of course she knows that he smokes.
And
Of
wasn't
course
this
she
movie
knows.
directed by a female?
I don't know the answer to that.
Can we find that out in the
I'm really
booth? I think it
sorry.
was Tamra something or other, I believe. I'm pretty sure I looked it up. Anyway, so
But so Jim Breuer.
Jim Breuer.
Yeah.
So he works at a record store.
Yes.
I like how they give you an insight into weed culture, like the bodegas, and that whole thing's really fun. Where they buy it, where you can buy it from, the weed delivery guy, and on the bike and stuff like that. And I liked breaking down the different kind of pot smokers that they do later. I thought that was funny, and I thought that was unique. And even though these all feel like disjointed sketches, they tie together loosely enough that I'm okay with it. And a lot of comedies are more like loosely tied sketch scenes,
Yeah.
But this movie still, we get to the point where, what was the sock laundry clip again? Can you set that one up?
Yeah, so they have their weed and they're all setting up to smoke, and they have this ritual that they do, and they all decide they want to take their shoes off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle, or the group, realizes that Jim Breuer should not be taking his shoes off. So
I had a
they
friend
say,
like that.
Put your shoes back on.
Can we play clip number
and
2?
Guillermo Díaz says to Jim
For
Breuer,
real, because you sock laundry, yo.
And it was directed by Tamra Davis.
I was right,
There
Tamra
you go.
Davis. I said it. See, but I can't fault her because in the 90s it was hard enough. I mean, even now it's hard for female directors to get work, to get jobs, and to get notoriety. I mean, Catherine Bigelow is one of the. It's taken her. She's done some of the best films out there, and she still gets like one every 3 years.
well, particularly in comedy, right?
Yeah.
That's nearly impossible. It's
Which is bullshit, 'cause
total bullshit.
Females are just as good, if not probably better, than a lot of the male directors out there. There's so many male directors that make movie after movie after movie where I'm like, I don't mean to bag on somebody, but Joel Schumacher is a director that I'm like, some of his movies are decent, and then some are atrocious, and he never has a style to me other than just kind of bland.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how he has an IMDb page like miles long, yet Catherine Bigelow has a handful of amazing films. It's stupid.
Well,
Near Dark? Come on, that came out like 20 years ago. How did that not do a movie a year from that?
I don't have an answer for you.
You don't?
I'm not an
'Cause
answer
it's absurd.
man.
Anyways, I'm gonna get
I'm
I
a
don't
question man.
But anyway, so I want to get into the sock laundry. I did have a friend growing up who everybody in my household had to take their shoes off when they came inside, except my one buddy who I won't call out because he's very sensitive about it. But
You know who you are.
you know who you are. But there were a few times where he took his shoes off and his socks would the stench would stain my carpet. So it would not stain it but the stench would stick
intense.
around. Not like a body stain, but if you walked by, it would still smell like it. So we'd have to clean the carpet.
It would scent stain your carpet.
So we'd be like, man, come on, do
For
your
real, because you sock
for
laundry,
real,
yo.
B, do your sock laundry.
Yeah.
And now I'm cursed with it because I feel like I have halitosis of the feet now. I feel like my feet always smell.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
it's
still
it's
burned
an
in my
insecurity.
nose from back in the
yeah,
day.
probably. You have a scent stain in your nose.
Scent stain in my nose. Yeah. I feel like I spent 14 minutes talking about the inequality of female directors.
It was important. It was an important
I
discussion.
got on a soapbox.
That's what you guys are here for.
That's what you guys are here for.
For the hard
Gender
facts.
politics in Hollywood. Who knew that would come out of Half Baked?
We all knew.
Anyways.
That's why we asked the younger kids, not to tune into this one because they're not ready for this discussion.
Can we go into Can we go into the bong names? Or
Yeah.
did you have something to do with?
Well, it wasn't.
Let's go to
important.
bong names.
Let's do bong names.
Because the bong names I loved. I remember thinking this was so hilarious, and if I smoked more weed, I would have several hilarious names. Can we play number 4?
No Billy Bong Thornton without Kenny. That would not be right, man. Use Wesley Pipes.
He's Wesley Pipes.
Wesley Pipes.
I wish that they had even more. I was trying to rack my brain to think of some more
This sort
Clever.
of feels like one where they like did a line-orama, sort of,
Yep.
where they just let Jim Brewer rattle off a couple, and they
you wish
only
that
just
they
kept
had those
the
deleted
one.
scenes still from like movies that old. They don't usually have it, but I guarantee if this was like an Apatow film now, it would be like a 10-minute featurette of just him.
They would have kept the whole scene. They would have just been like, "Should we use Wesley Pipes?"
That's
No.
what's great about this movie is there's brevity to it. It's short.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The scenes, as disjointed as some may feel, they don't go on forever. They're all
right.
They get in, they have the joke, they get out.
An eye for editing, which is great.
Yep.
But I would like if any of the listeners or viewers out there have
bong names,
bong name suggestions, hit us with it. I would love to hear your suggestions.
I'm trying to think of some.
Just on the spot.
I can't. I'm not that good at. I'll think of something before the show's done.
Okay.
Then I wanted to play the clip where Jim Brewer's epic food order, because this is the thing I definitely can relate to the few times I've smoked weed, is that immediately I go into my friend's kitchen and it's like Doritos, anything junk food, Oreos, snacks. It's like I mow through it like the Tasmanian devil.
Piper Parablow.
Piper Parablow. It sounds more like a porn name, but I like it.
But it could also be a bong name.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Or a pipe name. Yeah.
She went to my college. That's cool.
There you go.
She's a
Little
very
tidbit.
sweet young lady. Can we play
Wade bongs.
clip B2, please?
What do you guys want? Get some sour cream and onion chips.
Definitely had that
with
craving.
Some dip, man.
Yep.
Dip. Beef jerky.
Yep.
Some peanut butter.
Every
Get
time.
some Haagen-Dazs ice cream
Yes.
bars. A whole lot of hot. Make sure chocolate. Gotta have chocolate, man.
Yeah.
Some popcorn, bread popcorn, graham crackers. Graham crackers is the marshmallows, the little marshmallows, and little chocolate bars, and we'll make some s'mores, man.
Oh, yeah, s'mores.
That's what I'm saying, yo. Also, celery, grape jelly, Captain Crunch with the little crunch berries. Pizzas. We need 2 big pizzas, man. Everything on them with water. Whole lot of water. And
I mean, you gotta wash it down.
Funyuns.
So here's the story about one time. I won't play this clip again because it's too long, but there was one time where I was at a friend's bachelor party in Big Bear, and I smoked weed because they were into that, and I was like, let's do it. I'm always game. I'm not judgy. I'll do it. And I coughed so hard, and I got so high so fast that I felt like I couldn't swallow anymore.
Oof.
So I went out into my car in the driveway and had a quiet, nervous breakdown as I tried to eat crackers and chug water to swallow said cracker, and I was just in there like this, like a baby bird that's learning how to eat again. Like I was like,
But with no mama bird to feed
no
you?
mama bird. I was just like
a solo baby bird.
And I remember just for about an hour, they were like, "Where the hell did you go?" I was like, "I had to remember how to eat food and swallow it." It was so brutal. And the next day, I remember just waking up like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Sounding like Harvey Firestein. I gotta call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer. A little Independence Day reference there for you.
I have only smoked a couple of times, and I hate it because it's just so hot on the back of my throat.
Yeah. It feels like
it's fire.
It
Because
feels
you're
like
inhaling fire.
It feels like if Fireball Island was played with real fireballs, that game back in the 80s.
Yeah.
If one of those landed in my mouth and burnt my mouth.
Right. It's not a fun feeling. I
Not
don't
a fun
enjoy
feeling.
it. And
That was the weirdest metaphor ever I could have used.
No, that was the correct one.
That was-
to
yeah,
use.
thank you.
I think
Thank
you
you.
nailed it.
Nailed it.
King of
I'm just going
metaphors.
to end the show here because it was that good.
All right, I'll take over.
This clip always made me
no,
laugh
you're gonna
so
stay.
hard with when Kenny goes to feed the horse. I fell out of my seat again. Can we click? So Kenny goes to feed the horse, and he's talking to the horse, but a young woman walking by does not think he's talking to the horse, and she thinks he's talking to her. Can we play B3, please?
Hey, girl. You hungry?
Fuck you, nigga.
I'm sorry. I was talking to the horse here.
I want to play that one more time just because listen to how high on the fuck you her voice goes. The fuck specifically, it goes so high the word almost disappears. It's at a decibel that I've never heard before. It's higher than even the John Travolta like high pitched decibel that he does. Have you ever heard him do it kind of like, we gotta do this, man? Where he gets like
I
super
can see
in
that. I
face
didn't
off. He
realize
does
that
it.
was like the scale.
That was the scale.
The top of the
That was-
scale.
I mean, this tops it for sure. I don't know if he's the top, but he's in the upper echelon.
He used to be
Can we
until
play
this
that
woman.
clip again?
Hey, girl. You hungry?
Fuck you, nigga.
It almost sounds like
I can't even get there.
fuck. It almost. I'm coughing doing it. It almost sounds like a car screeching. It's so loud. I just imagine she came in for that one line for the audition, and they were like, done immediately. Okay, I gotta move on from that.
I love how seductive Harland Williams is in that scene.
Hey, girl, you hungry? It's so funny. And then he kills Buttercup, and the cop comes out and that cop has a really funny scene where he screams and he's freaking out. And can we play? This is when he's arresting him, and Harland Williams is trying to justify that he's a good person. B4, please.
I'm a peaceful man. I'm a school teacher. Shut up. You're a cop killer. I love horses. I love horses. I love horses. I love butter stuff. Buttercup. Dang it. Butternut.
I love butter stuff. Buttercup! He's just so angry and so distraught, and it's so funny. God damn it, I love that scene.
But I
love horses.
Yeah, they like bond over their love of horses a little bit, even though he's like so upset at him. I love horses. I love horses.
And then when he goes to jail, it's every cliche ever from a jail movie where it's like everybody's chanting fish, 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 like fresh meat and that stuff. And like the weird like shaking him and as he's looking directly into camera, and then like they're like the court's adjourned and he's in an empty courtroom in that scene. There's nobody in there. It's just very stylized.
Well, so then the other thing about like the whole plot of this movie, they're trying to just raise bail for him, but like he's still been charged with killing a cop. Like there's celebration after this movie, or like at the end when they get him out.
He got off the hook because they made a deal, is what they said. Because they,
not with him.
They did. They say with him? Yeah, they said they made a deal and Kenny got free. It's all very convenient.
No,
it's all. I promise. It says he says we made a deal and Kenny got free. It's all super convenient.
He's a cop killer.
There's no consequences. Just like the Entourage movie, those guys can do whatever they want. There's no consequences for Vinny Chase.
Also, like the cop that gets so upset should be charged for neglect because Kenny is feeding his horse for how long must it have taken for him to give him all that food? Yeah. Like forever, right?
That's like $700 worth of food, or like $150 worth.
The cop needs the horse to patrol. You don't just park the horse and then go patrol.
That guy.
Like, what's the cop doing?
Negligence.
I would love to know.
Negligence.
I'm saying.
So then I love that like the weed symbol, like the Batman thing, and then how it pays off in the end when they have the fake Batman theme song as they're fighting all the chicks. Yeah. And can we play this clip? My friends and I used to make fun of each other anytime one of us wanted to order ice cream. So what happens is after he meets Mary Jane, he's like nervous and he's going to ask her out on a date, and his two buddies in the back are pretending they're sleeping. Can we play B5, please?
You think sometime we could get together, maybe go out for some ice cream or something? I don't know.
Motherfucker said ice cream.
I remember pissing myself when I first saw that. And my friends, anytime, if like, say we were going to McDonald's and we were in the drive-thru, and somebody's like, I'm gonna get an ice cream, we'd all be like, oh, this motherfucker said ice cream, ice cream. And it was like this inside joke for ourselves that probably the person on the other end of it was like, either, I know, you're doing half-baked, or what the fuck is wrong with these people?
If they were running the drive-thru, they for sure knew what you were talking about.
They for sure knew,
They definitely still know. But, like, what the fuck is wrong with ice cream?
I know.
Like, ice cream is delicious, and I love ice cream.
You're a dork,
and
man.
I'll go at any chance I get.
It's not like he was like, hey, you want to go to a Ren Fair or something?
Right.
Which I have gone to, several of them.
I went every year growing up.
They're very fun.
Every goddamn year, and I loved it.
I love it. We're putting on the chainmail and fake sword fighting each other. It's awesome.
Human chess.
Human chess is great. So the ice cream clip, we got so many more sound clips to go through, so I don't want to play it again, but it's okay. What's the jail clip that you grabbed, Jesse? Do you remember?
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Clip 5. Clip 5, please.
I'm somebody's bitch.
He's so happy about it.
Squirrel Master, right?
Yeah, the Squirrel Master.
Which is Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I thought I remembered his character actually having like a...
He has a squirrel.
And yeah, but I mean having something else to do with it other than just a few cameo moments where he just protects him, and then that hilarious shower fight where he's like, no. It's, oh, God.
Well, and he's like, he gives him the food and has a little squirrel with the hairnet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all he's
Squirrel
in.
Master,
but
he's my bitch now.
Yeah, Harland Williams is so excited
and
that he's
Nasty
someone's
Nate.
bitch.
When he's when Kenny is writing on the calendar and there's a weird, for some reason, Speedo calendar of Nasty Nate, which begs the question, is the entire calendar Nasty Nate, or is it like a sexy prisoners calendar?
I really
and there's
wanted
like
to know. Or was
12 months of Speedo prisoners?
Or was Nasty Nate, like, was he famous outside of jail?
Was he like a WWE wrestler?
Right.
There's so many questions.
But if he's terrorizing Harland Williams, why does Harland Williams have a calendar of him?
Yeah.
I would ask for a different calendar.
Unless like the guard was like, haha, you got to leave this up or we're going to get Nasty Nate on you. And then he's writing no, and he keeps writing no on the crotch. He's like, no, bad. I forget what he says, but it's hilarious.
It's good.
I didn't get that sound clip.
Check out the
Son
movie
of a B.
if you want to know.
We have tons of cameos that happen in this. We got Snoop Dogg who shows up, and he is, let me see. Oh, damn it. I have it. No, I know that, but I'm trying to figure out where I had listed. The scavenger smoker. So they describe each kind of the smokers. The scavenger smoker is the guy who shows up and never has weed but wants to bum yours. So can we play number 6, Snoop Quit Smoking?
It's too bad, man. I just stopped smoking yesterday.
Meanwhile, he's literally
he's taking the whole joint.
it.
He's got that whole joint.
We got Jon Stewart, who's the enhancement smoker.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who's like, you ever look at the back of a $20 bill? You ever look at the back of a $20 bill on weed?
And I remember we used to always say that, which was hilarious because we were like freshmen in high school and none of us had ever smoked weed. So we're like, hey guys, you ever play Mario Kart 64? You ever play Mario Kart 64 on weed? And the answer is always, no, but I bet it would be awesome.
No, this is, of all the types of smokers that he describes, this is far and away my least favorite kind of smoker. Is
the guy who thinks everything
everything is amazing on weed.
Guys, you don't know. It's going to just open your mind, man.
Yeah, no, it won't.
Yeah.
It won't.
No, you'll just be chill, man.
I mean, it might, but like, I don't need this from you right now.
Yeah. Again, I'm super pro weed. I just
I was talking specifically about you.
for me. Okay.
I don't need it from you, Ben.
I'm sorry. The Willie Nelson, you should have been there weed smoker.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, back in the day, we didn't use condoms. We got weed. We smoked weed with the cops. And it's like, man, the 70s sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It's like when I worked with this older actor from a famous TV show back in the day. And he was like, yeah, we used to have orgies with the Love Boat extras on Friday nights and just all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, the craziest thing I ever did was, like, 12 years ago, I made out with an extra on a job out in the middle of nowhere, and she smoked cigarettes. So it was like I made out with an ashtray, and it was like 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm good. See you later.
That's going to be, in 20 years, that'll be the story
That'll be
you're
the story.
telling the up-and-comers.
Because the up-and-comers,
they'll be
they'll be like, what? That happened?
Oh, for real? You did that?
Yo.
Oh, people smoked back then?
What? But what about those crazy mouth diseases?
Yeah.
Like, there'll be some, like, super disease where, like, we're all in, like, Demolition Man and everybody's having sex through VR now.
Yeah.
Because there's, like, a hyper disease that's passed through just airborne and we're all going to be, like, the boy in the plastic bubble. This got real dark
Fingers
real quick.
crossed we make it there.
Fingers
you know
crossed.
what I mean?
I've had very real fears that we're going to get bombed by a nuke. Oh. Can we play, just because I love this clip, B6? This is when he gets some booty.
I got some booty. I got some booty. I got some booty.
See, that was actually, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, and there's like a montage of still shots of Dave Chappelle, presumably post-coital, but like in his boxers.
Yeah, and it looks like she's just doing very like stretches, like a trainer, like a gym trainer would do.
But he's in socks and underwear the whole time.
Maybe
like,
he's a timid guy
be
when
a
it
little
comes
more
to getting some
adventurous,
booty.
Dave. I guess the lights are on, so.
I will say that the first time I ever had sex, I'm pretty sure I ran around the dorm just going, oh fuck, dead air.
I got some booty. I got some booty.
Needless to say, the girl was very not pleased with that.
Yeah.
It was not the
I can
most
see
mature
that.
thing to do.
Well, so you were talking about Ren Fairs. I went to a reenactment of like a pirate ship reenactment. And like this, like we were all on the boat and there was one pirate running towards the boat holding a treasure chest. And he was just screaming out,
I got some booty. I got some booty. I got some booty.
Fuck you. Because I thought of that earlier today. And I even was like, earmark that so you have a good improv this time around. Son of a bitch.
Well, while you're stewing over there, I know that you were telling me that your daughter had cold feet the other day. And you put the
literally cold feet from not having socks on.
From not having socks on. So you threw those socks on. And your daughter, her first words actually were,
I got some booty.
Got some booties.
Yeah, booties.
Yeah, there you go.
Booties. She doesn't know how to pluralize things yet.
Not yet.
But
I mean, she's 5 months old, so
she
saying
knew-
words already, really impressive.
Round of applause for Daisy.
We got, oh my God, we have 8 minutes. We've talked so much about gender politics and whether or not weed should be legalized. So much came out. Who knew this movie was so deep? Can we play clip number 7? This was one of my favorites, and this is how I wish I had quit a job someday. Maybe I still will.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
The best part is the woman he says you're cool to is this super charactery old lady who's just like,
Yeah, she knew. Like, they were vibing the whole time. She was
so
like, yeah, I
good.
got you.
It's so good. I've always wanted to do that. I used to work at a specialty grocery store back in the day, and I really wanted to be like, fuck you. I wanted to do that, but instead I just threw my apron down and left and didn't say anything.
Oh,
This is
missed
the
opportunity.
best workplace insult thing. The only thing that ties this for me is Christmas Vacation when Chevy Chase goes, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your own ass, Happy Hanukkah. Like, that one is just such a funny build to me as he's just dryly saying that to everybody. So these two are like neck and neck for me as best like workplace insults.
Yeah,
to
I feel
multiple
like
employees.
this one, at least for like my sphere of consciousness, has like overtaken all other forms of like.
Oh yeah.
Leaving a job, like it is even superseded just that situation where people say it all the time.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
cool,
You're
fuck
cool,
you. It's
fuck
like Duck
you.
Duck Goose,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
a really terrible way of playing it.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of what I do when I unfriend people on Facebook. I'm like, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you, I'm out. Yeah, that's, I do that.
Sure.
Sometimes, why not?
Why not?
I mean, it makes it more
It's
fun.
necessary.
It's super tedious to unfriend people.
Some people do that on Twitter. Don't do that on Twitter.
Don't do that on Twitter. Come on. I just want to have
2K.
2,000. All I want is
2K.
2,000. That's not that much to ask for, people.
Ben
Anyways.
2K. That's what.
Ben 2K. Can we play the, so this is,
Millennium.
this is when they go to meet Sir Smoke-A-Lot, he unloads on all of his issues. And one of them is a very serious medical issue. Can we play clip number 8?
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
I don't mean to laugh at people who have the such a terrible affliction, because my uncle has issues,
Yeah.
and I think someday he's gonna need a backiotomy.
Yeah.
So I don't want to poo-poo that. Can we play it again just because it's so funny?
Doctor said I need a backiotomy. Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
I can just hear it. That should just be my text.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Every time you text me, it should be like, Doctor said I need a
Doctor
backiotomy.
said I need a backiotomy.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
such great rhythm too.
And then there's we go into we didn't talk about the MacGyver donor. Stephen Baldwin has a great,
Yes.
the best Baldwin. Am I right?
I mean,
the best Baldwin.
You're not wrong.
I hope people knew that was a joke. He is a good Baldwin though. He was in The Usual Suspects. Can we play clip number 9, the MacGyver smoker?
All right, then get me a toilet paper roll, a corkscrew, and some tin foil.
We don't have a corkscrew.
All right, then get me an avocado, an ice pick, and my snorkel.
That's the best. An avocado, an ice pick, and my snorkel.
I love that was like, okay, well, if we don't have a corkscrew, then get me this stuff. Oh yeah, we for sure have those things.
We scrap the entire first one.
Yeah.
If we don't have a corkscrew, that I can't work with those other
make
two.
the rest of it work.
Nope. It's so good. Oh, we got to keep moving. Shit, I dwelled too much on other stuff.
I do want to say though, I really like the rapper. How his only songs are about his.
I
want to
talk to Samson.
He only raps about his weed dealers, which is great.
We already played Bob Saget. So basically, let's skip ahead to the because it's all sound clips that matter in this. So I love when they rob the place and Scarface has the full-on Dead Presidents makeup, because I love Dead Presidents when it came out. That movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a guilty movie pleasure at all. Hughes Brothers, fantastic
You
film.
won't be seeing it on this podcast.
You will not. You'll be seeing it in my library, though. And I just want to get to the end here because we only have like 4 minutes. The end fight scene is super ridiculous. They go in there with a wire on, which why wouldn't they be searched immediately? And
Right.
it's super convenient, like that, hey, we busted you for selling a shitload of weed, and you won't roll over on the guy that was the distributor because that is you.
Right.
But we'll give you another guy, and they're like, okay.
Deal.
Pretty sure that's not how police works, but it's fine. It's a comedy.
Also, like, props to Samson for having an army of ninjas.
Yeah.
Like, how did he find
sexy
all those
ninjas?
people?
Yeah, sexy leather-clad ninjas. It was like
Yeah.
an Andy Sidaris film. If anybody saw those movies, they were booby flicks back in the day. When you know what? This is the thing. In this movie, they show a boob, and in the '90s, growing up as a kid in the '80s and '90s, it was like Pokemon. You had to catch them all because you couldn't find them.
Well, and they acknowledge that when it happens.
Yes, can we play that clip actually? Clip number 12?
Clip 12.
Now that's a titty.
That was pretty much me every time I saw a boob. I was like,
now that's a titty.
Because it's not like now where I could Google titty right now and see limitless amounts.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm desensitized.
Well, so
back in the day, everyone was like a leprechaun's pot of gold for you.
To your point.
As a prepubescent child.
To your point, I would see a movie with cleavage and I'd be like,
now that's a titty.
and my friends would be like, no, that's actually not a titty.
When
and I
I
was
s-
like, well,
yeah.
I don't know. I've never, they don't show them.
No.
I don't know.
When I saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit came out, I was like,
now that's a titty.
and they were like, well, it's animated, dude. And I was like, yeah, but it's making me have weird feelings at 7 or whenever that movie came out. That's the thing, though. There was an innocence. I talk about this a lot on the show. There was an innocence to like tracking down a VHS copy of an R-rated movie with one nude scene in it versus now when it's like, I want to look up horse fucking. Yep. I don't know why
Because that's the guy who would look up horse fucking.
That is
for
the guy.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, you encapsulated him to a T.
You know, I've been working on my guy who looks up horse fucking porn impression.
You nailed it.
And it's been workshopped for years. Shit, we have 2 minutes. Here we go. Okay, so then they have this amazing fight scene where her boob comes out and she's freaked out and Samson's like, ah! And then he punches her, because that's what you do.
That's what you do when a titty comes out.
If you do that at a strip club, I'm pretty sure you get ejected from it if you punch a woman when.
Is that true?
I think so.
Damn.
Don't try it at home. Then
Don't try it in public either.
Dave Chappelle throws a piranha at the one girl and it like hits her neck and she's like, ah! And they have random piranhas that just hanging out that can be thrown like perfect Chinese throwing stars.
I mean.
Who
knew he had that skill?
Oh wait, we do have this clip we didn't play yet. When they're trying to get the cops who are super high to come in and save the day, their code word is abracadabra. Can we play clip number 11?
Abracadabra? Yeah, man. Abracadabra.
And they keep saying it over and over. The cops are super high in the car and they don't come save them. I love abracadabra. It makes me laugh.
Abra.
This is one of my favorite lines in the entire movie, though. I remember this made me crack up so much, which is when Samson grabs Scarface and has a gun to him, and their exchange here is hilarious. Can we play clip number B7?
This is the way it's gonna work. I'm gonna take your little Mexican friend with me, and I'm gonna kill him. I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
That's my favorite. Yes, Cuban B. I just remember thinking that was so fun. Yes, Cuban B.
Like he's extracted power from that scene.
So funny, man. And then we got to talk about, we have like 30 seconds. So the weirdest thing that happens, this movie's already weird. Dogs fly out windows, people fly at clubs. It's completely absurd. But the weirdest thing ever that happens is that they set up earlier that Brian, aka Jim Breuer, buys Jerry Garcia's ashes in a vial around his neck, and he throws it, and the spirit of Jerry Garcia comes out and hits Samsung. No, those phones just explode on their own.
Yeah.
They hit
Maybe that's how it
Samson
happens.
with
We don't
a
know.
guitar, and that's it. And then he disappears, and it's like, what? We just went in the realm of complete fantasy now.
Sure.
Where Ghost Jerry Garcia now can save the. That's like a Deus Ex Machina moment, like you always say on the show, where that's like, that's the rough draft version.
Right, yeah.
The placeholder.
Yeah, we'll keep that there until we figure out what to do.
Yeah. And then they never changed it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's I feel like they put it in there as a joke to the studio, like, yeah, right, they're never gonna do this, right?
Right. And then they were like, well,
You know what my favorite part is? The studio's gonna give us a note about Jerry Garcia. No, we love Jerry Garcia.
I would like you to change the rest of it.
Yeah.
Keep Jerry Garcia.
Fuck.
No, but it's very much like, and we can start to wrap up a little bit here. But it's very much a movie about, by, and for stoners.
Oh yeah.
And so like that's where you get a lot of the disjointedness from it. But it's like
It's so funny.
a fun
This
jaunt.
movie's hilarious.
A fun jaunt. I loved just real quick. My favorite part is that the place where they're getting the bricks of weed from in the hospital. It's like a room full of only weed.
Only weed.
That's their weed room.
No cameras or guards. Well, the guards think it's funny and just want to let them watch.
But like no other prescription drugs. Like
just weed.
It's not a pharmacy. It's just the weed place.
Perfectly packed weed place.
That's all there is there.
But there is a love story, and the love story ends as most love stories do, where he chooses the woman over weed. Can we play the final clip of the evening? B8.
I know what you're thinking. That old Thurgood sold out, right? I'm your girl now. But let me tell you something. I love weed, okay? I love it. But not as much as I love pussy. The end.
The end. And that is the perfect way to end the show. Not as much as I love pussy.
Although
The end.
my advice for Thurgood is find a girl who loves you for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to give
that
up what you
relationship
love.
isn't going to last.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect place for this show to end. We were a little. It was as if we were high today, the way we covered this movie. I promise we weren't, but it sure felt like it. That's what lack of sleep and 2 lattes right before a show does to you. Where can they find you, Jesse?
At Too Much Jesse on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
You can follow me for sketch at The Prom Losers.
At the Ben Begley, Twitter and Instagram. At Funhouse Mass is the Funhouse Massacre, the movie my wife and I co-wrote. It's on Showtime as well. You can see it for free and Redbox and all that good stuff. And at Guilty Movie Guys is where you can follow us here. Tell us what other movies you want to see. Let's get some suggestions going. Also, please, I want to start a nerd debate about the fate of the Furious and where it sits in the echelon of Fast and Furious films. And I'm really excited to talk about that.
And bong names.
Bong names,
Hit
yes.
us up with bong names.
Hit us up with bong names. Until next time,
What is your guilty movie pleasure, man?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.